Hello YouTube, it's your boy Trucking for Millions. I want to do a quick video on how to build a trucking empire from going from CDL training to lease purchase to owner operator. There's a process, but but keeping that in mind, I want you to understand that it don't have to be held to the traditional way of thinking. Most drivers you come across out there is gonna still be thinking traditional, especially most drivers with 10, 15 years or more. You know, we tend to think in the mindset of the 90s, early 2000s. Well, time frames are going faster now. Technology is moving faster than ever before, and trucking is not an exception. The thing is that even right now, Uber has been tinkering around with making driverless trucks. And the thing is, as truck drivers, we're gonna have to figure out where we're gonna fit in that equation. Are we gonna be the ones who are gonna understand the software behind it, or are we gonna be the ones that invest in the equipment? You know, where are we gonna fit, or are we just gonna wiggle our way out of trucking altogether? You know, so those are the future mindsets we have to look at. But then, of course, we got to worry about what's at hand, which is the present. And presently, you know, the last biggest shift we had was paper log to e-log. And some of your drivers that's been driving over 10 years, you know, it's almost like a culture shock, especially for the ones that was driving 25 years or more. So sometimes being an old head or a veteran in the trucking industry can hurt you. And I know I just lost a lot of veteran drivers, but it's true. You know, it goes all the way back to that Tom Sawyer story where, you know, they created the engine for the caboose engine for the train, and he thought he could beat it, and he was still stuck on the old system, but the new system beat him out. Same concept with trucking. You know, if we stay in that old mindset, the new concept gonna beat us out. You know, and that goes all the way for the new CDL driver that's even going through your training and just now getting your CDL class. The thing is that you need to be connected and have the type of mind state that can adapt to the present time right now. You know, and not connect with and not be so, how can I say, in a box with traditional thinking, because you're going to be left behind with the technology. That's kind of like somebody staying stuck with MySpace, even though Facebook has beat that way out. You know, most people didn't see that coming. You take companies like Netflix, you know, nobody ever saw that they would knock Blockbuster out the map. You know, they kind of took over online video, took over landline video. And that's the thing, you know, companies get gobbled up all the time. Whole industries get gobbled up, or the way that industry does business. So that's what we have to be looking at. And I think that when we start to have that type of mind frame going into trucking, no matter what you're going to do with trucking, rather trucking is something that complement other things, or trucking is that main source that bursts other things for you, no matter how it fits, you know, we have to be mindful of where it's going and where it's been and where it is right now. And so that's kind of where I am, even personally. You know, I went from OTR my first 5 years to regional those next 5 years. And then these last few years, I've been local regional, if you will. And I realized that through doing that, I've been building relationships. And relationship building is more important than chasing freight. Most drivers never get past the chasing freight phase. So you're gonna always be moved by the times and the seasons when you chasing freight. You know, that's something that you have to really be careful and mindful of. So yeah, you know, if you sitting up here in 2017 still with a 1980s mindset or a 1990s mind state, or you was trained by somebody with that mind state, or you got information based on that time frame, and then you're going to be operating in an outdated system when it comes to your trucking business and the way you conduct business with trucking, whether you're a company driver or not. And while that's being said, being a person, you have to understand that you are the business. Trucking's not the business, you the business. So when you run yourself as a business, then you become an asset to everything you touch. You complement trucking, trucking shouldn't complement you. And that's one of the things I want you to get that mind state on. And that's really what this whole channel was about. This channel is about more than trucking. This channel is about a mind state and taking your life to the fullest point that it can go. Rather it ends in trucking, or rather it goes from trucking to real estate to something else. Whatever the stepping stone may be or the foundation may be, it's about your mindset and knowing that nothing that we do is greater than who we are. We only can be who we already are. We can never be bigger than who we are. Whenever you find people who jump into things that's bigger than they are, it's always going to fail. I feel like, you have your actions has to be lined up with who you are mentally. And that's the whole thing. And I think that a lot of that is wrapped up into your surroundings. When you're connected with people on that level where you're trying to go, then that's where you wind up. And that's the whole thing. So again, I want us to look at trucking as not just chasing freight. How much cents per mile is it, and where is it going, and the divisions, and yeah, all those things are important. But the vision and the plan of the end of the day, and your yearly plan and your weekly goals and your daily goals, that's more important than the freight itself and the division and where you're going. So that's the whole thing. As I was saying before, I remember Casanova did a video a long time ago. He did a video on chasing freight. And the thing is that you still have a lot of drivers out there that's just chasing freight instead of building relationships. And the thing about chasing freight is that when it dries up, it dries up. But when you build a relationship and things dry up, because you have a relationship with that shipper, you still going to have access to freight that other drivers don't have access to because they haven't built that relationship. And even if that particular shipper don't have anything, they could be connected with other shippers to that might. So you're going to be able to go that extra mile. And one of the things you have to realize is that, in any business industry, it's dog eat dog. And the thing is that the deeper roots you dig into your business, as far as being built on customer base, built on lane, built on other things versus than just chasing freight, then it's going to be harder for your business to fall. The easier it is for your business to run, the easier it is for it to fall. The harder it is to get your business running, the harder it's going to be for your business to fall and to be duplicated. Think about it. How are you going to duplicate Bill Gates? How are you going to duplicate Warren Buffett? How are you going to duplicate that? How are you going to duplicate Apple? How are you going to duplicate Android? And that's the thing. You're going to have to be the Android in the trucking industry, that Apple in the trucking industry. That just cannot be duplicated. Because you have developed yourself in such a way to where, all you're going to do is prosper and go up and get bigger and bigger as a trucking empire. If you in training right now, or you thinking about training, the thing is that you go from being a CDL trainer, a CDL driver in training, to being a driver in training, to being a company driver, to being a lease driver. That can all be done in 6 months. That's what I call hustle. That word hustle is just so underrated and so misunderstood and so misused. To me, that's hustling. So then in 6 months, if you can go from lease driver getting that experience to a year being an owner operator, then you go from a year of being an owner operator to another year of building relationships with the shippers, and then going from there to being a fleet owner, and then from fleet owner to literally just operating a business hand free, hands off. The business world don't even consider you having a business if you have to work in the business. We supposed to work on our business and not in our business. And stuff like that is not stuff we're taught as truck drivers or truck owners, truck business owners. We don't approach the trucking industry on a business level like we should. We do to some degree, but not to the next degree. And that's kind of where I'm shifting right now. The thing is that I wasn't wise enough or smart enough to connect myself with other drivers that think on that level where I'm trying to go. Had I done that in my 10-year mark, to me, I think that if you take a driver from CDL training and you fast forward him 10 years, there's no way he should be driving a truck. He should be at minimum a fleet owner with a minimum of 5 trucks. That's my strong opinion, and I stand behind it 100%. And here I am, 20 years in the game, and the most trucks I ever owned was just the one I drive. Just being honest with you. And I didn't start getting real serious about how, hey, I have to start looking at something different. You know what I'm saying? To keep doing the same thing is insanity. Trying to do the same thing, looking for different results. It's insanity. And that's kind of what I've been doing, and I'm sure a lot of other drivers have been. And if you're a new CDL driver, or you only been in it for a while, or you've been in it for a long time, I hope this video will challenge you to go from thinking about the operation of a one-man team to getting on the mind state of building you an empire, building you a fleet. Why UPS got to be number one? Why come you can't be the next UPS? Why come I can't be the next FedEx? And that's the whole thing. It's not about arrogance. It's about a goal. It's about a dream. It's about going somewhere other than just being that one person. Okay, look at it like this. Let's say you're a one-man company. You drive, operate, you do everything. You're one company. Okay, health issues arise. Now you have to be laid up in the hospital. Who's going to run your truck? When you stop, your company shuts down and folds. Now who's going to feed your family? So as truckers, what if you start thinking in a way of growth? And even if you just had 2 other trucks and you got sick and went down, guess what? You still got 2 trucks running. And you can hire a driver to drive your truck. So between them 3 trucks, you could have enough money to keep your family with a shelter and keep things running at the house until you've gotten better. And even if you didn't, with the revenue of 3 trucks will be enough for you to sit back and begin to use your mind to take those 3 trucks to 6 trucks to 9 trucks to 12 trucks. So that's the whole thing. It's a numbers game. And if you think about it, every industry that is doing good, every company that is doing good, they expand. It's not one McDonald's. It's not a McDonald's in one country. It's a McDonald's in multiple countries. And that's the whole thing. And the man that's behind the McDonald's never flips a burger unless he wants to flip a burger. He spends his time thinking about and discovering and running tests on how he can make McDonald's greater. I know that's that next level mind state, and not saying that a lot of other drivers don't think like that, but in my experience running through all the videos and the different things other than, Casanova, of course, he's an icon in the trucking media world, at least to me, so there's no disrespect to nobody out there, Casanova, nobody. But here's the thing. It's not even about right or wrong. It's not about, me being better, them being better, me being less. It's about what it's going to take to be profitable in this business and to bring home the bacon, the eggs, the ham, the turkey to our families. And it's going to take us being smart, I feel like the trucking industry has more opposition than most industries. Even though the opportunity is great, there's a lot of opposition. You know, you have to deal with all the regulations. It's over-regulated. It truly is. And so we have to maneuver through all the regulations and still run a profitable business. And that's not easy at all, especially when we come in with the wrong mindset. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. I'm talking about going from thinking like a truck driver to thinking like a fleet owner, a trucking empire builder. And that's what I want. And I hope that this video has helped you. I don't know, maybe I can talk about it again. Maybe I can do a part 2 on it or something. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But I hope you was taking notes and thinking and being challenged. That's why I'm here, to challenge us in this trucking industry, to take this thing to the next level. You know, put UPS out, put FedEx out, and one of us underdogs become the top. That's my dream. Trucking for millions. To the next video.